Hello, hello, Team Explorers. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Hotspot Show here on KTN Home. My name is Yusta Segete, and of course, I'm excited to bring you yet another exciting episode of the Hotspot. Remember, this is a show that brings you and takes you to places where we redefine fun, adventure, and culture. See, I'm already holding a calabash of good fortune, vibes, and inshallah, if you know, you know. But you know what? We are here at the Nairobi National Museum, at the city or at the heart of Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, of course. And you can see right from my background, there's so much to explore, so much for us to learn, and so much for us to experience here at the National Museum, because remember, this is the hub of traditions, culture, and everything between the stages of life way to the end, that is the ancestral stage. And you know where we're going to start this exploration from? The Gallery of Cycle of Life. So tag along on this episode because it's gonna be extensive, it's gonna be magical. Let's go. Today, I have been dressed by Craft Caravan here at the National Museum. We were trying to pull a look that would match up to the theme of today's hotspot, of course, looking cultural, looking traditional, and you can tell my look from head to toe is very cultural, colorful, and traditional. At this point, let's go to the circles of life and explore more. So Team Explorers, we made our way up here to the Cycle of Life Gallery. This gallery right here paints a picture of exactly how it is, you know, passing through the different stages of life and the different social interactions, traditional interactions of a man right from childhood, youthful, the adulthood, and finally the ancestral stage. I'm excited in particular because as a man, of course, you have to go through these different stages of life, and it's quite important for you to understand exactly how different communities, different traditions carry out these different stages of life. So we are going to meet a researcher. Her name is Lydia Nafula, and she's going to take us through the different activities and the different things that we are seeing here. It's going to be exciting, so stick around. How are you, madam?
I'm fine.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure too.
For how long have you been working here?
I've been working here since the 2005, so over 10 years. So this gallery is the cycle of life.
Yes.
So in the African setup, there are various rituals and traditions related to the cycle of life. So specifically here, we're dealing with Kenya.
Yeah.
So the first stage in the cycle is childhood. So within childhood, we have like the naming ceremony.
Yeah.
So different communities have got the way they name their children depending on the time of day they were born.
They were born, how they were born, where they were born.
Yes, all those. So you get names related to that. So for example, Akoth in the Luo community is somebody who was born when it was raining.
Yeah.
Then we have how you feed the child. So depending on the environment where the child is born, so there are different foods that relate to that culture. Then we have right here what we have, the creativity of the child. Then the way the knowledge is passed on in that community. So in the evening, the older generation, like the grandparents, sit around the fire and talk to the children and pass on.
I remember good old days.
Yes.
So all that you're saying is represented on this wall.
Yes.
Yeah. So does it mean like every culture or every tribe has their story on this wall, or is this something in general?
So this is generally speaking about the Kenyan communities. So we have picked a few from each the various Kenyan communities.
Okay.
So it's a mix of the various different communities found in Kenya. So for each theme, we have some we've selected, some communities.
All right. Still talking about that stage, the world is changing, we are becoming modern. Are you also incorporating the modern way of this stage?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So for example, in the naming, we have a baptism among the Christian tradition or Christian religion. So we are also incorporating things that are happening currently. So naming for a Christian, have the names that one is given when they're baptized, and then we also have the traditional name. So even as we go along and culture is changing, but what's the traditional aspect, but also the contemporary aspect incorporated in us as Kenyans.
Okay, wonderful. I get. Now, there's this wall, and then, of course, we go to the next stage of life. Take us through the next stage of life. That is adulthood?
Youth.
Youth.
Yes.
Or you first become a youth, then you become an adult. I hear you. All
Though
right.
they are connected. So,
I see.
Yes, so the youth is being initiated into adulthood.
Adulthood.
Yeah, so they are taught what they'll do when they become an adult. But depending on the community, there's that initiation. So for some communities, there's circumcision. For others, there's removal of teeth. For others, there's scarification, that's making certain marks. So the youth undergo those rituals, and then during that stage when they are healing, like for example circumcision, they are taught what is expected of them to defend their community and all that. So in the youth stage, we have various items used during that stage.
Intriguing. Right from the 1960s, because some of these things, I think you only have to be at the museum to see some of these tools that were used during that time, because of course we didn't exist. Now from that stage, the different walls, there is the adulthood and then the ancestral stage. What's represented there?
So in the adulthood stage, now people have more responsibilities.
Of course, adulting, I see.
So beginning with marriage. So that's where two people come together and from different families. So it brings about a strong bond between the two families. So when a man, for example, would like to get married, he sends his members of the family to go to another family where they consult, and as they go there, they take some gifts. So in that stage, you have gifts given during that ceremony. And later on, there's the marriage ceremony. And also during that ceremony, there are various gifts given. And depending on the culture or the tradition, community involved, there are also various ornaments worn. So for example, among the Maasai, they have a long necklace for a bride. So there's a special ornament worn by a bride. So along the various stages, there are special ornaments. So they may be earrings, necklaces, bracelets that represents the role of that person in the society, what they are in that society. So also in the adulthood, we have leadership. So people are selected to be leaders based on their characteristics and their age. So if one is has wisdom, they are brave, so they are selected to be a leader.
That's why we got the likes of Akina Mekatilili Wamenza. If you remember your history pretty well, I think all this dates back to those times. Wonderful. Allow me to take you back to the marriage, the marriage stage. We've had pretty unique stories about people getting to marriage and how they are wooed to become brides. The fact that you've worked here for long enough, or rather 10 years, perhaps you could share a story of maybe a unique way of approaching a pretty lady in this, the very many tribes that you have here in Kenya.
So in the various communities we have in Kenya, there are various ways. So one, for some, it's people, a man who wants to get married, he would send his parents, mainly the male relatives, to the family, the girl's family, where he'd like to get a bride from. So from there, they'll maybe give unique gifts, and if they would, they're willing to hand over their daughter in marriage, then they'd accept, and the negotiations will go on for a while. It's not like immediately.
So it's basically almost the same like across all traditions, not that there's a tribe that has something that is very outstanding or unique in the way they approach their women or marriage for that case.
They're more or less the same, but there are some differences here and there, depending on the community.
All right. And finally, to the last stage of life, what's represented there on the wall?
So we have ancestorhood as the last stage of life. So that's People, the way they look at their dead, the way they deal with those who have passed on. So the rituals, the ceremonies related to that. So we have, like, for example, among the Mijikenda, they have Vigango, which are memorial posts. So representing the famous people in the community. So like the elders in that society. So when an elder passes on, there's a memorial post that is put up within a year of the elder passing on. And it's not put at the point where the person has been buried, but somewhere else. So it could be in a shrine where now the community members go and pour libation to remembering the community member who has passed on.
Okay, wonderful. I mean, it's beautiful to see that all these stages of life are represented here and they're well summarized. And finally, why is it important for us to learn the various traditions and ways of passage?
So it's important to learn these things because culture and the stages of life are who we are as Kenyans or as the communities in Kenya. So without knowing our background, our identity, then we won't be able to move forward in a special way. So this is something we value as Kenyans and also as various communities within Kenya. So without putting importance of this, we would be really lost.
I know. You ought to know where you came from. You ought to know where it all begins and, of course, where it all ends. Now, we are going to end this segment here for the art gallery. But remember, we are still touring this whole museum. It's way too large. Stick around as we go to yet another segment. So far, so good. I hope you are enjoying the show. Keep it hotspot. Remember, you can follow us across all our social media platforms. That is KTN and Home, that is KTN Home _ or myself, Eustace Segi, across all platforms. So stick around, Team Explorers. We are here for fun and more fun. So Team Explorers, most definitely we all have an idea or some knowledge about birds, reptiles, mammals, fish, you name it. Of course, from science school, and everything is general knowledge. So today we are particularly going to talk about mammalogy. Just from the word itself, it's just the study of mammals. Right here at the Hall of Great Mammals at the National Museum of Kenya. And as you can see right behind me, we already have representations of these great creatures that we are going to talk about. I was just told earlier that we can actually even spot a relative of the giraffe, which from the look of things, it doesn't look like it falls under the giraffe family, but surprisingly it is. But don't you worry, because we are going to learn and explore this place much more with the guidance of Dr. Musila, who is a mammologist here at the National Museum of Kenya, and he's been doing this for 20 years and counting. He tells us it's very extensive. More than 20 species have been exhibited in this gallery. So stick around, let's engage Dr. Musila, a mammologist. So, Daktari, you've been working here for quite a number of years now, almost 2 decades. How has it been, and what's thrilling about this study of mammals?
It has been very interesting because mammals come in different shapes, from the smallest, which is 2 grams, up to the biggest land mammal, which is 6 tons.
Oh, wow.
And of course, the most interesting thing about mammals is that you have to go to different places all over Kenya, places I would have taken myself. So it gives me the opportunity to go to every part of Kenya.
Wonderful.
Yeah, which is very nice to see people, to see where the mammals lives. Yeah, so that is the most interesting part of it. Again, it gives you an opportunity to travel outside, to meet other mammalogists. we share information. And also this kind of opportunity where we have to create awareness about the species that we study.
Yes, yes. And it's beautiful that you travel, but you bring all these things at a central position just for us and team explorers to learn. A quick one, is it the smallest animal an ant? Is it?
Okay, that is true, but now we are speaking in terms of mammals. Mammals. So, yeah, the ant is small, but you see it's not a mammal. So, in case of mammals, we are speaking about the shrew, which has a pointed mouth, and mainly 2 grams, the smallest. Okay. Then we move on from that to the biggest land mammal, which is the elephant here.
The elephant, and we are actually standing right in front of one, and next to it is a skeleton of that elephant. Let me ask, is this real skin that you use to create these pieces of art?
Yes, this is the real skin from the elephant itself.
Okay.
That was removed, and then now using skills of art, which we call taxidermy, then it was prepared into a look-alike. Yeah, so something that you can actually relate with what you see in nature.
And the tusks?
They are real. They are real. Yeah.
This is the first time, by the way, if you've never seen tusks, you can come here, but just go to safaris and see them. But Daktari, there are more than 20 species exhibited here. Give us an overview of this great hall of mammals.
Okay, basically what we have over here is an exhibition that is trying to show different types of mammals, from the small to the big ones. It also tries to explain the origin. Because every time you come across any kind of feature, it can be biodiversity, it can be a bird, it can be a mammal, you want to know where did it come from?
Of course.
So in this exhibition, we have put an information on what is the origin of mammals. From there, we want to explain how they live in nature, how they move, what kind of habitat they live in, what do they feed on, how do they escape from predators? And the kind of features that they have, which help them to survive in nature. Again, we also use this exhibition to explain the threats that they face. Yes.
And of course, what humanity can do to make sure these creatures thrive in their own natural states.
Exactly. That is quite important, because we know us as human beings, we are also part of mammals.
Yes.
And so we are actually the main drivers of extinction or threat to these mammals. So in this kind of exhibition, we also want to bring that so that we can make people aware what they are supposed to do to protect these species, because mammals are very important in terms of economic development of our country.
Absolutely, absolutely.
2023, for example, we earned more than 300 billion Kenyan shillings from tourism alone.
Wow.
And for sure, many people who come to Kenya, they are coming because they are pulled or they are interested in seeing large animals. Maybe the elephant, the lion.
Or the smallest creature for that matter.
But what pulls them is the big ones. And of course, the big ones are supported by the small ones. So that is why it's very important to have an exhibition like this, so that we make people aware of the importance of these species and what they need to do to protect them.
Beautiful. Of the 20 species, exhibited here, perhaps point some of the unique species that someone would only learn or see upon a visit here, and they can't perhaps catch it anywhere else.
Okay, there is one species like the pangolin.
Pangolin. I know the pangolin that was a while back was assumed to be the cause of COVID. That was the assumption at the time?
Yes. So the pangolin is a mammal species. Yes. But when you come across it, actually, it looks like a reptile because it is covered in
rough skin.
It has covers in scales.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a mammal because it has all the features. It can give birth to a live one, young ones, and things. It can breastfeed. And so that is one unique species that is exhibited here. And we have 4 species in Africa, and we have 8 species all over the world.
Okay.
And so the species we have in Kenya, the 3 species, and also all the other 8 species all over the world, actually, currently they are the most traded or hunted illegally.
Yes, I hear
so
they are traded for their, of course, skin.
People hunt them because they want to use the scales in traditional medicine and witchcraft. There are people also interested in trying to eat the meat because they think that it has some medicinal properties. Yeah, so that is the idea which is driving the trade on them.
But is it a poisonous creature?
No, it is not. It's actually a very docile creature. When you come across it, it rolls into a ball, and it becomes very easy for people to collect it. It will not bite you. But when you come across it, it fears, and then it rolls into a ball. And people actually just collect it and carry it. That is why they're becoming very easy to treat, to poach.
I see there's a trick there. Yeah. What's the most frequently asked question when people come to this whole grade of mammals? What do they mostly want to know or ask?
I think one of the most interesting things that they want to know is what kind of mammals do we have in nature? And this exhibition right here answers that question, because when you walk in, like here, you can see large animals. When you walk around in the different exhibitions, you see other smaller animals. And that is important because many people, they know mammals as big animals. But truly speaking is that even the small ones, there are many species, and they are quite important in terms of supporting the big ones. So this exhibition, it's important for that. People want to know, okay, what do we have? What type of shapes?
Yeah, how do they exist? How do they correlate with nature?
How small are they?
Yeah,
what kind of features do they have? Where do they live? Things like that. They are very important. Yeah.
Wonderful. Dr. Musila, now this is a divergency corner. What's this corner all about? I can see that's a well. Let me try. This one looks like in the family of pigs. But I don't know, you're the pro here. What's this corner all about?
This corner is more of explaining the origin of mammals.
Okay.
And the term that we are using is divergence. Divergence means to like go apart.
Yes, yes.
And so, but you are going apart from the same origin. Okay. And that is the essence of this kind of exhibition.
Oh, it's very symbolic.
It shows that these are animals that begins from the same root, but then they started developing features that make them different in the end.
Okay. All right, there you have it, Team Explorers. This is one of those shows that is quite extensive, such that we cannot finish exploring the National Museum of Kenya in just one episode. You can already see and feel the food here is heavy. Je, umekuja National Museum ama namna gani? But don't you worry, next week we do a part 2 of this exploration. Be sure it's gonna be beautiful and amazing, just as this part 1 of the show has been. My name is Yusto Segete, and of course, as usual, every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. I'm excited to bring you amazing and adventurous places that you, your family, and your loved ones can always go to explore whenever, however, whenever you please, because come on, that's what explorers do. Stick around for this and more.